She's got long legs and short shorts, but she ain't got no teeth. She wears a red bandana on her head, and she smiles so sweet. She'll steal your heart, a very first sight should rip apart your soul. She'll torture your mind and waste your time and drag you down the road, 'cause she's a Jezebel, St. Andrew Jezebel, 'cause she's a Jezebel, St. Andrew Jezebel.
Happy holidays, y'all. You're listening to the St. Andrews Jezebel Podcast. This is Ashley Feller. I'm a local singer-songwriter, and I'm also a Floriopolis volunteer. I hope everybody's enjoying their December and enjoying all the lights in historic St. Andrews. Yesterday, I was hanging out at Floriopolis, getting ready for an interview, and it was just beautiful. I love all the decorations. I love seeing people strolling about all merry. It really made me take a moment to appreciate where I am and how far we've gone since Hurricane Michael and through the hard times of the last year. This week, I'll be going over some community events for the week of December the 16th. And this week, we've got another singer-songwriter who I really think you'll enjoy if you go catch him live. His name is John Caesar. He's a fantastic songwriter, and I think you'll enjoy our conversation. I need to add that the St. Andrews Jezebel Podcast is going on a break from December 23rd and will return January the 6th. I don't know about y'all, but sometimes you just need a rest. And in that time that I'm resting, I'm going to be planning new episodes. There's going to be new videos for the Salty Field recording sessions. And it'll be time for me to spend some time with my family, my kitty cats, get my house together, and just be a human being. I want to thank everybody for all your love and support, and I hope you'll be with us when we come back in January. Well, get your cozy blanket, get your hot chocolate, maybe your seasonal beer, sit back, relax, unless you're driving, and enjoy the show. All right, so let's start with Thursday for the community events. So tonight's Thursday. Come join us at the Taproom. I'll be playing music for you from 6 to 9. Panama City Comedy will also be putting on their comedy show inside the Taproom, and I think they start at 7:30, and I believe there is a $10 cover. It's also singer-songwriter collaboration night at the Library on Beck, and that's hosted by Stephen Myers. They start, I believe, around 7:30 or 8 o'clock, so you can bring your songs. You might meet somebody to co-write with. You can share your songs in front of a live audience with no pressure. Whatever you decide to do Thursday night, I hope you have a great time. Let's move on to Friday. At 6 p.m., the folks at Gypsy Beach will be creating a versatile heart planner hanger / wine bottle holder. You can learn multiple macrame knots in this workshop and leave with confidence to create a larger macrame piece of your own. This is an intermediate macrame workshop. Call Kathy today and register for this super fun class at 904-451-3071. The cost is $65 per person, which includes all supplies. Then on Saturday morning, you've got the market at St. Andrews that opens up at 8 a.m. This is a great time for you to get your last-minute Christmas gifts, check out the food trucks, go see the live music that's brought to you by Floriopolis. Remember to bring some cash so you can tip the musicians, and have a great time. Also on Saturday, bring your little ones for story time with Mrs. Claus at Oaks by the Bay at 10 a.m. And then Saturday night, join the Ukes of St. Andrews for a holiday celebration, a joyful community event where neighbors gather to spread the Christmas spirit in song. Bring a chair and your cozy blankets. The music starts at 5:30. Then on Sunday, meet with the Panhandle Runners Club at Oaks by the Bay Park for their annual Santa Run in St. Andrews. It proceeds down 9th Street towards Beach Drive. Come out and join them in your most festive attire. All are welcome for this 5K social event, runners and walkers alike. Monday, you've got two options for music. There's, of course, Monday Night Little Fest at the Taproom from 6 p.m. Lots of great craft beer, lots of wonderful local music, wonderful ambiance in their courtyard. You'll love it. Or your other option is under the Palapa Hut at Little Village. Then on Monday night, join your friends at Little Village for Blues and the Drews. It's at 6 p.m. and this week the featured musician is Janelle Frost. Wednesday night is Comedy Open Mic Night, and it's at 8 p.m., and it's hosted by Panama City Comedy at the Library on Beck. Their sign-up is at 7:30, and it's welcome to all skill levels. So grab your friends, go drink some wonderful beer, and have you a nice laugh. That's all the community events I've got time for this week. I'll have plenty more next year. One of the best things about St. Andrews is that you can see live music every day. That's right. There is live music being played somewhere in St. Andrews 7 nights a week. Fortunately, my friend Ken Schaefer creates and publishes a weekly schedule for St. Andrews as well as most of Bay County. Ken's spreadsheet schedule is updated often when there's any changes. Ken also shares individual music events and is walking the walk and talking the talk when it comes to supporting live music. Not only does Ken supply the music schedules, but he attends several music performances a week and takes fantastic photos of the musicians. As a working musician myself, I feel blessed to have Ken and his wife Donna as treasured members of our local musical family. Make sure you like and follow Ken's page, Salty Sounds in St. Andrews, and Oh Boy Music on Facebook, so that you'll always know where all the live music will happen. All right, up next we've got an interview with John Caesar. He's a wonderful local singer-songwriter. But first I need to let you know that there has been a slight change of information. During the interview, John talks about an event he's taking part in this weekend called Psych Night. That event is still happening. However, the venue has been changed from Zen Garden to a place called Juan Taco, which is also in Panama City Beach. I want to thank John for being on the podcast, and I hope he'll come back in the new year. So sit back and relax, and I hope you enjoy the interview. We are here today with John Caesar. Welcome, John. It's so good to see you. Good to see you playing music a lot lately. To start things off, how did you get into playing music?
If I recall correctly, my family was kind of a family of musicians. I know my uncle, he was a country musician. He still is. I think my mom told me that he was offered like a record contract or something. And then I guess my mom had a family band when she was a kid. And then I found out years later, oh yeah, my dad actually played guitar in some like rock bands or whatever. I didn't really get into it until I was like in middle school, I think. I grew up loving music, of course, but I don't know. I was just in a weird spot in life most of my life. But when I was, I think probably 14 maybe, my mom, and I was homeschooled, so my mom was like, hey, listen, you got to pick an instrument. You got to learn it. We got to do something for school. So I was like, okay, what's the easiest instrument I can learn? I was like, bass, 4 strings, easy. And of course, I was like super obsessed with Korn when I was in middle school.
Who was it?
Here's things I shouldn't admit on a podcast, part 1. Yeah, I liked Korn, but I was really into them, and Fieldy has a really cool way of playing, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get a bass, it's gonna be cool. I never learned any of their songs, to clarify. But then I started playing in church, and it just kind of went from there.
Very cool. And how did that lead up to now, playing out and around town?
When I was younger, I had this idea I wanted to be like a worship leader or something like that. And then stuff happened along the way. And I was like, you know what? When I was a kid, I kind of wanted to be this rock and roll star. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for it.
Nice.
And so when I was 18, I was like, yeah, I should probably learn how to play the actual guitar instead of just playing bass. And so I learned that, got into that, and I met some folks around here, played in a couple little offshoot bands that really didn't do anything, and just made some friends along the way that kind of propelled me into it. I got invited to play at a Monday night by my good friend, Eli Ingram. And that was, after that, I was like, ooh, here we go.
That's wonderful. And I love it that we have such an encouraging community of positive musicians like Eli, who like to build people up and encourage them. And, we all stick together and stick up for each other. And so in the last year, you've released an EP. Is this your first recorded music?
It is. Like solo stuff, yeah. It is my first.
Wonderful. Tell us a little bit about it. What's it called and what's the whole thing about?
It's called Live in My Underwear, or Live in My Underwear, depending on who you ask. I really only made it because I played my first Little Fest, and then I played, I think, maybe another one, and a few people had asked me if I had any material out, and I felt bad saying no. So I was like, well, I guess I need to put something out.
It's amazing what pressure will do, huh?
Right? So I really quickly rushed an EP, which people tell me they like it. I can't really listen to it now. But I guess that's a part of, being a musician or an artist or whatever and making stuff.
It takes time.
Yeah.
One of the things I really like about you is you self-produced your EP. How did you get into that, and how did you learn how to record yourself and mix and master and the whole process?
Well, I kind of been fooling around with Studio One for like a year. At that point, I never really did anything with it. I watched a couple videos maybe online, but I mean, all of it was just pretty much on the go, figuring it out as I went. And mixing, which I don't even think the EPs really mixed well at all, in my opinion.
I love it. And it's an ongoing process. It really is. And I'm just enthralled by people who used to do it on tape. And then I look at what we have. I'm like, oh my gosh,
right?
We have it so simplified, which is still complicated. It's still complicated doing it the digital way. But when you think about the transition from tape to doing it digital, it's night and day. It hurts my brain thinking about the tape method.
Daunting, very much. And it's crazy because there's artists nowadays that do it. They do it all by tape. Like a guy that really inspired me when I was like 18, 19 was Mac DeMarco. And he does all of his stuff analog and then puts it digitally out everywhere. And it's crazy to me.
How did you come to the decision to produce it yourself as opposed to going to a studio?
Well, first and foremost, I'm broke. I mean, at least for this little EP, it was just like, hey, I need to quickly do it. Okay, I can do it. I got the stuff. I have been working on an album though. And that one was more of a conscious decision. Like, hey, I want to have full control over it. I want to, make it may not sound, studio quality or whatever, but something I can say that, hey, I did all that,
I think that's really awesome. And I think that that's something that musicians should maybe consider, take into the thoughts of it doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it out. Embrace imperfection and just do it. As Eli says, he always says, just do it. He's like Nike. But yeah. So what's your new record going to be like in contrast to the EP?
Well, it's not acoustic.
Oh, I'm really excited about that.
It's not acoustic. I think one of the songs I have like 4 layers of electric guitar on there. It's pretty interesting. It's slower. Like when I did the EP, it was just, I didn't really know honestly what I was doing. I didn't know how. I really had just written those songs like 3 months prior. I still had no idea what they were going to sound like or what I really wanted them to sound like or be like. And then this album I've been working on, it's kind of been digging in, trying to find the sound, and it's kind of spacier. I'm not good at describing my own stuff.
It is tough. It's hard to describe your own art because it's actually a good thing to be outside the box and not put a label on it. But is it solely you on the record, or have you got guest players? There's
one song where I have somebody doing guest vocals, and that is my good, wonderful friend Calliope Pettis.
I love her.
she oh my goodness, she is amazing. Amazing as a person, amazing as a musician. She's singing on one of the songs, which I actually have a demo of it on SoundCloud, but I was sitting there watching her do it, and I was just blown away. I was sitting there, I was like, oh my God.
I'm sure she nailed it. I love her. I'd love to have her on the podcast sometime. So if you're listening, you have an open invite, Calliope. And I was listening to her CD on the way over, and I love it. And I remember I went to high school with her 3 older sisters. And I remember her being like the toddler. So it's been really fun to watch her grow and blossom. And that's really cool that she's on your upcoming album. I'm really excited to hear that. When do you think it's going to be out?
Sometime in February, somewhere around there. Yeah, I haven't set a specific date, but I'm shooting for February.
And so going back to the whole production thing, what do you think is probably the most important lesson that you've learned in your experience of self-production?
I think the biggest thing I've gotten with it is not to be too much of a perfectionist. That's a lot of people's downfall with their music. Like I follow a few meme pages on social media, and that's like, there's always a lot of memes about that, but that's like the real thing. Like I have to fight off the urge to continually, I got to tweak this. I got to tweak this. I got to tweak this. And it's like, like thankfully I have a roommate that after I work on something and I at least get like a rougher draft of it, closer to a finished product, maybe I'll make him come in and listen to it. And, he'll give me a reception on it, which has been positive. Of course, like a part of me is like, he's just saying that because he's my roommate. But it's always good to have someone like to remind you, hey, this is good. You don't need to be super perfect, because you can spend forever just looking at something you did and just picking it apart. And when in reality, it's completely fine. And you're only hearing that because of your whatever thought process you got going on.
You got that right. It took me a year to record my album for that reason, because I kept saying to myself, I don't like it. I want to do another of this, another vocal take, another drum take, another anything that came to my mind. And you're right. And I think that's what holds a lot of musicians back from not putting out more music, because like you said, they've got this perfectionist mindset. And, I think there's also a lot to be said about deadlines, because if we don't have deadlines, then there's really nothing to hold us accountable. But I think that's great that you've embraced non-perfection and put it out anyway for people to resonate with it and enjoy it and share it. And then hopefully you'll have more to follow.
That's really the beauty of art, the perfection in the imperfection, because the difference is just what you're calling it. You don't look at a tree and be like, oh, that tree's whacked out. That tree's messed up. We need to change that. No. The music is really just, to me, it's like a moment in time. You're capturing a moment in time. Obviously, when recording, you want to get the best take you can, but okay, take the best take you just did and think about it as in, I just captured a moment in time. I'm not a big person to over produce something, or I think that's what, I don't know. Personally, I think that's what kills music nowadays.
I would agree. It's more of a product than a piece of art.
Yeah.
And so, folks, if you're listening tonight, which is Thursday night, then tomorrow there is a very special event that John is involved in Panama City Beach. Would you tell us some about that, please?
Yeah. Friday, December 17th, there's an event called Psych Night, volume, I can't remember that either. There's 3 bands, local art, vendors, everything you need. There's food, there's people. Yeah, I'm going to be opening for it. It's going to be me, and I got a little motley crew of people playing with me, so it's going to be a full experience. Then there's a really cool band called Elderflowers that's playing, and then there's a band, I think I want to say they're from New Orleans, maybe, called The Unnaturals. If anybody wants to come out and hang out, it is a family-friendly event from 6 to 10.
Well, that sounds awesome. Can we dance?
I'd hope so. I don't see why not.
Do we need permission to dance anyway?
You can dance if you want to, okay?
And you can leave your cares behind.
That's right.
So tell me a little bit more about the history of Psych Night.
It's a cool environment. I really couldn't tell you the history of it. I know it's done by Corey Hall, and then all the vendors, if anybody ever wants to be a vendor at one of those things, they have it once a month. The art vendors are all through Taylor Pecori. That's how I say their last name. Yes. I know it was pretty much started by Corey Hall, I believe. But it's a really cool atmosphere. It's nothing like, sometimes people will be like, oh, Psych Night, that must be weird. No, it's not weird. It's art. There's a lot of art that's going on, and it's a cool space for people to hang out and really just meet people just within that realm. It's art, it's music, it's a scene,
Awesome. Well, I'm really going to try to come. And so I ask all the musicians on the show this: if you could play any venue in the world, what would it be and why?
I think I've always wanted to play at a festival. I don't think it really matters. I want to play at a festival. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. I grew up listening to really heavy music a lot. You're on YouTube, you're looking at live performances from heavy bands. All the good ones you're going to see are at these huge festivals.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's going wild. I'm like, yeah, that'd be cool. Not even just put me on something low level on there.
I think you would be great. I could totally see you at a music festival. I think you have music festival written on your forehead and we just can't see it. So we'll have to help you out with that.
I see something in your eye.
So what are your creative intentions for the new year? What you got going on next year?
What do I have going on tomorrow? Both of those questions elude me. Well, I have for Shoresies that album I have coming out. Listen, Ashley, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just flying. So I don't have any plans ever. I'm just kind of going wherever this thing takes me. I have things I would like to do, which I would like to play shows. And yeah, that's a very broad thing. But it's my plan right now is I'm going to play music.
I think that's awesome.
That's my plan.
Just play music.
I'm just going to play music.
Hell yeah.
That's the intention. That's the goal.
I think that's a pretty awesome invention. That's what I intend to do too.
Right? We're about here. Heck yeah.
Well, we've got our plans for next year, folks.
That's right.
So where are you playing soon? Where can folks find you? There's Psych Night, and where else are you playing?
So far, the 22nd, I'm going to be doing just a solo set at Little Village. And that's, I think, the only thing I have on the books for now. But if there's anyone listening who would, like to have me play at their birthday party, quinceañera, baptism. I don't know if anybody has baptism parties.
Well, I look forward to seeing you live again. I always enjoy seeing you play because you've got a very distinct sound. I like your songwriting. I like the different tunings that you play in. I like everything about your performance. And so for the folks listening, how can they find you online and beyond?
You can find me on social media. For Instagram, I have _John Caesar. But let me spell it for you because it's not spelled normally. That would be _JOHNCEASER on the Instagrams. And then on the Facebook, that's like facebook.com/, or maybe there's like a user then / again. I don't know. John Caesar Music would be like the, and then I'm on Spotify, John Caesar, misspelled naturally. And I'm on SoundCloud. And, all the other streaming things, I think. I'm somewhere. I'm in space.
Well, fantastic. And thank you so much for being here, John. It's good to see you. It always is. And I wish you the best with your album coming out and the shows you're going to play and all the music you're going to play next year and any adventures you may have. If you're in the Panama City Beach area this Friday night, check out Psych Night. There's some great music going on. What time do they start again?
6 o'clock.
They start at 6 o'clock. Y'all need to be there. Until next time, thank you for being here. Keep St. Andrews salty. For our old news segment, here's just some helpful hints for Christmas from the St. Andrews Bay News, December 18th in 1928. Hints for Christmas. If you spill salt, throw a pinch over your shoulder, and ill luck will pass you by. Always try to have a bit of mistletoe in the house, for it is a luck bringer. For every kiss you take under the mistletoe, a berry must be plucked, and when all are plucked, the privilege ceases. If you find a bit of red ribbon or red wool amongst your presents, especially wool, you will have luck in love. Be sure to wear the trifle while you make your wish. If you want a happy Christmas, put more into it than you take out. From the Montreal Herald. I hope everyone has enjoyed episode 57 of the St. Andrews Jezebel Podcast. As always, it brings me a lot of joy to create each episode, and it brings me even more joy to interview salty locals. As always, thank you for listening. Thank you for all your kindness and support. I don't know what I would do without it. As always, if you'd like to support the podcast, please visit our Ko-fi page where you can make a one-time donation. Our theme song was written by me and recorded by Dave Schwartz on the campus of Gulf Coast State College. The rest was written by me and recorded in my music room, with the interviews recorded at Floriopolis. I hope everyone has a wonderful, happy holiday season, and you take the time to enjoy your families, and you have a happy new year. Till then, keep St. Andrews salty.
Red lipstick, so thick, and a push-up bra. Tramp stamp, stretch marks, and a lacy thong, 'cause she's a Jezebel. St. Andrew Jezebel, 'cause she's a Jezebel. St. Andrew